Aw, shit. Here we go again.
Welcome to the Sloppy Book Club podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Celese. And we
And
are
this is
on episode 20. We made it. And on this episode, we're going to be talking all things Apollycon, from how we got our tickets to the very end of each and every source event, or like anything that they were doing. It's basically our whole entire experience.
Yes.
Obviously it's our perspective of how things went. So there might be some, we're not here to bash, but there were some negatives that we are going to discuss because it was our experience. We're not going to lie about our experience, but there were some really great things that did happen while we were there. So we want to share that as well. So again, it's going to be like a whole kind of breakdown of everything, from tickets, how we got there, registration, everything.
Yeah, so let's get to the tickets.
Yes.
So that was a bit of a hot mess.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yes, we were both on our laptops ready to buy tickets because we didn't know how it was going to be. We knew that a lot of people were interested, so it was probably going to sell out really fast. So we were both on it, and I feel like we were on it like the very second it opened up to everyone, and everything sold out
within like seconds,
like a half a second, not even. It's like a half a second.
It was literally 8:00. I would never forget it. It was like 8:01 or something, because I think they went on sale at 8, at least on our end.
Yeah.
And I remember it being like 8:01 and it was like sold out. And I'm just like, how is that even possible? It was so crazy.
And we were going for the Titan tickets. So that was like the highest level. You get to do pretty much everything. So probably our mistake, number one. Because everyone wanted those tickets. Every time we would try to go on, it would say there's 2 available, and we would try to get it, and then it was sold out. Or on Celise's end, it would say 1 ticket available. You would try to get it, and it would sell out. So it was super frustrating.
It was very frustrating. And the only reason why we lucked out was because I was able to get like a Titan ticket, and I believe it was like 2 Deity tickets or something.
You did, yeah.
And I was able to trade for 2 Apollycon tickets. So I traded my Titan ticket and Deity ticket. I was just like, I think it wound up costing the same amount or something. So like we didn't have to transfer any funds or whatever. Or if we did, it was like a couple dollars. And I was like, I'd rather just like not have to deal with money. I'd rather just trade the tickets. And someone was really willing, someone was willing to do that. But do you remember how scared we were? Because we were like, is this person gonna like take our ticket?
Didn't you end up FaceTiming her?
Yeah, I FaceTimed her. She was super sweet. She was super, super sweet. But you never know. Like, this is a huge gamble. And you're purchasing tickets months in advance.
Right.
And you're holding on to that honor system, like, hey, we changed, the names on the tickets, honor that. Because honestly, I could have edited the tickets up until, I want to say, a couple of days before the event happened. So like anything could have happened, but she did honor it, and we were able to go in with no problems.
Yeah. And I should mention that we had originally wanted our husbands to go with us. But then we couldn't get their tickets. We just got our tickets, the Apollycon tickets. And then what was it, back in, I don't even know, April or something like that?
It was a few months.
Someone contacted me because I was on like this huge list of people wanting to buy tickets, and someone sold me 2 Apollycon tickets, so our husbands were able to go.
Yes.
Thank goodness for her, because that was truly a blessing that they were able to go.
We'll talk about like how much
we'll get there.
How hopeful they were, because like honestly, if it wasn't for them, like it would have been really, really hard. But yes, it was really hard getting the tickets. I'm pretty sure this time around it's gonna be even harder. So make sure you have your friends and families on their phones, on their laptops, ready to go. Something that I would recommend, because it was, what is it? Invite-Brite or Eventbrite forum that they kind of use, like for ticket sales. I would say make sure you have an account with them. So you're not filling in the information then and there, because I think that was my issue too. I didn't know to do that. So, every time I would put in my credit card information, the ticket's already gone. So make sure you have your credit card information, all that stuff ready to go, so it's easier.
Right.
So that was tickets. Now let's talk about getting there. Now, getting was tough. It was a 6-hour drive. We're from Massachusetts, and we had to drive all the way to DC. It wasn't too bad.
It was a terrible trip down.
It wasn't a terrible trip down. Coming back home was where we got into the traffic, and like the AC went out of the car. Mind you, it's a brand new 2021 truck that my husband has for work, and the AC went out. So that was fun, but then it wound up fixing itself, which was weird. It was just a weird, like, couple hours into the trip.
Yeah. But on the way there, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, on the way there was a
Thursday. So middle of the week, not a lot of traffic.
It really wasn't. I want to say maybe the last hour, we might have hit some traffic in DC itself, but that was because it was rush hour. Like, everyone was getting out of work. We were traveling on a Thursday, and just because we're on vacation doesn't mean everyone else is on vacation. So around that like 5:00 time when we were heading there, that's when we noticed like some traffic, but even then it wasn't really bad.
No. Okay, so registration. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we got to our hotel. We did not stay on site, which was really shitty. We probably should mention that.
Oh yeah.
If you can get a hotel room on site, do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a fucking pain in the ass to have to drive to another, or even walk to another hotel, especially if you're bringing a ton of books to be signed, or if you're by yourself.
Yeah.
So definitely try to stay on site, because that sold out right away when we bought tickets. So again, we were only like 6 minutes away, and it wasn't bad, but
it wasn't. But I could only imagine if it was just me and you with all that stuff and having to travel off site, like that would have been a lot. So we lucked out with our husbands being able to get there. But yeah, like Jenny said, if you can get on site hotel room, like, please do
it.
I honestly feel like some people bought the hotel room before even getting the tickets, because I don't understand how the hotel rooms and the tickets like sold out at the same time. Like, it was crazy.
They probably had someone else trying to buy the hotel while they bought the tickets, but whatever. So yes, stay on site. Registration, when we got there, they separated everyone by last names. So the first half of the alphabet went one way, the second half went another. Another shitty thing, because Celise's last name is Perez, mine is Gonzalez, so we were separated. So if it was just her and I, now we're separated 2 different lines, and if we were trying to get somewhere, if one line was longer than the other, then we were kind of stuck. So when I got to my line with my husband, I don't know why, but they moved Apollycon ticket holders up the line. So the moment I got in line, there was probably a good 50 people in line. They brought us to the front of the line, and we were able to get our registration done.
Yeah, because I think what your section did, which was kind of smart, was like you were in alphabetical order, but you were also divided by Titan and Apollycon. Mine wasn't like that. My line. Everyone, that's what I can only assume, because your line went super fast and mine was taking longer. And someone who was in front of me was Titan, and then I was Apollyon. So there wasn't like a separation by those kinds of groups. And I feel like that would have made it easier. Like you should have had like a section for, you know, A through M, Titan, A through M, you know, Apollyon. And I feel like those would have moved the lines quicker too, just because you're not all together at once. So like Jenny said, I had to wait a little bit longer, and then I couldn't find my ID and I started panicking.
What a loser.
But I found it. Also, pro tip, clean out your purse before you get there, especially if you need your ID.
Don't be like Celese, pulling out receipts after receipts after receipts to try to find
hoarder. I don't know. I just hoard receipts. I don't get it, but my husband hates it. He hates going through my purse. I hate going through my purse. So yeah, finding my ID. So make sure you have your ID, you know, handy and ready. But other than that to me, registration was like the easiest part. It was quick, easy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wasn't online that much longer than Jenny. But another pro tip, so if you're going with a friend and their last name, you know, is higher up on the alphabet list, I would say just switch your tickets to their name, right? Wouldn't that be easier? Like, what if you know, if we had our tickets at the same time, instead of it being under my name, I would just put it under your name.
Put it under mine. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Especially if we're going together, right?
Alphabetical order, you're going to go into a faster line if you're higher up on the alphabet. So definitely do that.
Yeah. So
now that line's going to be long next year.
Hey, well, you never know.
You never know. All right. So after we did registration, we were able to go straight to the wristband section for all the ticketed authors. So we just went into a different room. I think it was the Independence room, and it was right around the corner. And we did not have to stand in line for that. It was pretty empty. We walked right in. We told them which ticketed authors we wanted to see, and they gave us wristbands, and we were in and out. It probably took less than 5 minutes.
Right. So the ticketed authors are the most popular authors that they knew the lines would be really, really long. So trying to have, you know, line management and line control, they decided to do this wristband system where, like, say you wanted to see Tessa Bailey, you had to have a wristband. And during signing day, you had to wait for your number to be kind of called. So if you had, you know, a wristband that had the number 50, they would say, you know, numbers 1 through 50, you can line up to see Tessa Bailey. So that's how they did it. At first, I was really pissed by that. Because I'm just like, what if I have a high number, you know, am I going to see that person? Now we'll get into that when we talk about signing, how that went.
Yes.
So again, wristbands were for like really popular authors that they knew their lines would be extremely long. And it was just for line control.
Yeah. And after you're done with the registration and you're going to go get your wristbands, don't worry about rushing to get your wristbands or if there's a long line, and don't stress out about it because it is really random. They don't give you the top number, the bottom number. They literally go through and pick a random number.
Yeah.
You could get 501 at the same time. Yeah. So don't stress about waiting in line for the wristbands because it's going to be completely random.
Yeah, definitely. From wristbands, it was the source event. Now, I'm a teacher. I'm a stickler for rules and following rules. If you tell me to do something and that is the rule, I'm going to follow it. So we did registration, we did wristbands, and that same day was the source book event. Because we were Apollyon badge holders or ticket holders, we were able to go to that source event. But they were only for 300 people.
The first 300 people.
The first 300 people were able to go into the source event. Here comes the rules. You're not supposed to line up until an hour prior to the event happening. We learned on day one, people do not listen to that rule.
Not at all.
They make unofficial, official lines, as they call it. So
yes. We're hanging out.
They're hanging out in front of the door, creating a line, but not really a line. Mm-hmm. And apparently in prior Apollycon conventions, if the staff noticed like really long lines prior to that 1 hour, they would tell everyone to leave, and then they would call people when it was time. Or they switched the line, like the front of the line became the back of the line. I heard that happen one time. I don't know how true this is. This is just things that we've heard. So yeah, we learned that people don't listen to rules.
Do not. Because we followed the rules on day one. We got there exactly 1 hour before the event started. So right at the hour when we were allowed to go. And we made it in. But we were one of the last of the 30 people.
30 people.
In. So think about that. If we got there right on time when we were supposed to, 1 hour before it started, we were in the group of the last 30 people that got in to 300 people limit.
Yeah.
So think about that. How many people actually stood in line beforehand.
So I would say, wherever the venue is going to be, wherever, the events are going to be held, stick around to that kind of area.
Yeah. Go to the bar.
Don't be too far. Be around that area, just because people do line up earlier than they're supposed to. I don't know what they're going to do about it next year, because I'm pretty sure that's something people were complaining about. And obviously you can't really control people lining up. You have to kind of just try your best to be a good person and follow rules.
Look at your face.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe the line that had already formed when we got there. And like you said, we were the last of the 30. And that was with us lining up the hour before, like we were supposed to.
Right. So we should mention what the Source Books event actually was. So it was just like a little trivia thing that they were doing. They had cookies, ice cream. They had a little mini bar. And then you were given a poster with a handful of authors that were there that could sign it for you. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, I think it was 10 authors that were there. Once you come in, they gave you your poster, and your poster was like your ticket in. So if you left the event, you had to show your poster coming back to show like you were the part of the 300 that originally went in. When you walk in, there was a bar to your right, and then there were a bunch of like tall tables, like cocktail tables, and that's where the authors had set up their little book posters of like up and coming books that they were gonna be having, and that's where they were gonna stand for your poster signing. Then towards your left there was another bar set up, and then further down was where the ice cream kind of station was, where you got free Ben and Jerry's. The ice cream was pretty good. I really liked it. And then they had a stage where the hosts were, where they were gonna ask the questions, and then they had all these tables with about, I want to say like maybe 8 to 10 chairs per table.
Yeah, about 10. It was about 20 something tables with 10 seats.
Right. And this is where our negatives are. Yes. I don't believe they had enough tables and chairs to accommodate the 300 people, because they were quite a few of us that were just standing around. Now, because we were the last of the 30, we weren't able to snag a table. We couldn't even snag like 2 and 2. Like we couldn't even be part of 2 tables. No. There would be like 1 chair left, or like 1 random chair. And then when I would go there, they were like, oh, it's for someone. So it wasn't, I don't feel like they had enough tables.
They 100% did not, because unless people were just putting their things on the chairs and saying no, because you asked a couple people if the seats were available and they said no, but there weren't enough seats. It was probably for a good 250 to 270 people, and there were 300 of us there. There were not enough seats because there were a ton of people kind of leaning up against the walls in the back or on the cocktail tables where the authors weren't standing there anymore because they were kind of in and out. So that was a real negative, because if you got into an event that was a limit for 300 people, there should be enough seats, items, whatever it is, for 300 people.
I agree.
So that was a huge negative. The only plus side, I think, is that those people that sat down didn't have their posters signed right away. We were able to get our posters signed because we didn't have seats. So we kind of just went to every cocktail table and had the authors sign. We met Scarlett St. Clair, Rowan Parrish, Zio. So they signed our stuff and we were kind of able to just hang around them. But we were not there for long because we couldn't even do the trivia.
Yeah, so we were just standing there with our ice creams and our cocktails, and we're just like, are we gonna stand here for the whole event and not be able to participate and see everyone winning and like having a good time, and we're just standing there? So it felt really weird. It felt really awkward. Plus, we had just traveled 6 hours nonstop. So we didn't really eat or anything. We literally went to the hotel, dropped off our stuff, and went straight to the event just so like we could make everything on time. So we were like, we're hungry. Let's go get food. So on our way out, there's another negative.
Your eyes, I could see it.
So on our way out, they were like, oh, if you come back, you have to show your poster. Okay, cool, whatever. So we go to dinner, we hang out, we go, back to our rooms, go to bed. I wake up and I find out that the Source Book event had swag bags. And the ladies never said anything.
Nothing.
So on the way out, they would have been like, oh, if you don't come back, there's swag bags, or like, hey, are you coming back for the end of the event because there's more going on? Like they didn't say anything.
Or even on the website, because everything else that had a swag bag said you will be given a swag bag. This one did not. So we missed out on a swag bag. So we were both a little tight.
And I was really mad because there was a Katie Robert book that I wanted.
Wicked Beauty.
In that swag bag, and I missed out on getting my own copy of it because she is going to be there next year, hopefully. And they had like her book, and it says Apollycon author for 2023 or something, like a sticker on it. And I was so upset because they didn't say anything.
They didn't. I wish somebody would have said something. We would have stayed for that.
Make sure you come back if you want to get your bag or whatever. So and
I know it's kind of like a you snooze, you lose kind of thing. We left early, but we were literally standing there in the corner doing nothing because we could do nothing. We couldn't even do the trivia. We were kind of off in the corner. We couldn't hear anything because
I couldn't hear
off in the corner
anything. Like I couldn't hear not one question, so I could even like pretend to play.
Right.
So we missed out on that. So word to the wise, don't leave early, and if you do leave early, ask if there's gonna be swag bags towards the end. Make sure you ask, like, hey, is anything else happening? Like be honest, like, hey, I'm starving, I need to get something to eat. Is anything else happening, or is this it? And hopefully they're honest and tell you. They didn't say anything to us.
All right, so then that brings us to Friday.
Yeah.
So we had Apollyon tickets, so we were not able to do the panels throughout the day. That was just for the Titan holders, right?
So there were panels, and then there was that like 2 hour, 1 hour like bonus signing. Like they were able to get.
I think they got 3 hours.
Was it?
I think it was 2. Yeah, I think it was 2 to 5. I'm pretty sure they got more than an hour for Titan signing for Friday.
So they were, if you had a Titan like ticket, you were able to go to any of the panels that they were having. There were a few different ones. And then after panels, I believe it was like a break. And then from there, it was exclusive signing time. Like you got to go to you got like an extra day of signing basically.
Yeah, so they got 3 to 6 p.m. signing. So they got a good 3 hours.
So yeah, that's 3 hours. Yeah. So they got 3 hours.
Yes, they did.
Extra signing time.
And they could go into, I assume they could go into both rooms because it says Ballroom and Independence. So so they got a good full day. They got to meet authors, sit in panels, and do the signing. We did not do any of that. But from what we hear, because we did not go to the panels, from what we hear from other people who did try to go with Titan tickets, there were not enough seats and there was not enough space for all of the Titan ticket holders to go in. And I understand that there were like 4 different times and maybe like 3 or 4 different panels for each section. So I understand that not everyone can make it into all of them. But a lot of people were very upset about that. I don't know if I would really be upset knowing that there were so many different panels, and the rooms you could see when you go to the hotel, you'll be able to see that the rooms are not that big besides the ballroom and the Independence room. So I kind of understand why there weren't enough seats because you got to pick and choose, but a lot of people were very upset by that. I can't give my opinion because we were not invited because we had Apollyon tickets. So yeah, that was all I heard about the panel sections.
Yes.
So then that brings us to the Sparkler event, which was that night at like 8 o'clock or something for an hour. Once again, rule followers here.
Yep.
Got there 1 hour prior to the start of the event. Like we were told, do not arrive 1 hour prior to the event. And yes, that line was extremely long. Very, very long. It was sat for a while because they didn't open the doors right away. So we did kind of sit down for quite a bit. The volunteers were kind of running around trying to get everybody lined up in almost a single file, which was almost ridiculous because there was not enough room to get everyone in a single file line. At one point we were like at a part of the line where there was kind of a walkway through and they kept telling us to move back, but we could not move back. We physically couldn't because there were so many people behind us. So trying to like get them to understand if they want us to move back, everyone else has to move back. Exactly. So we were kind of just like crowded and kind of standing there in like this tight little position while people walked in and out. So then they finally opened the doors and it was chaos. I don't even know what you could see all the authors going in first, like they all walked in. It wasn't every author, it was just again like 10 or so authors. You could see them go in, so they finally let us in and you didn't even know where to go. So what we did was we grabbed our swag bag and turned around and walked out because there was absolutely no way.
And excuse me, I'm not ignoring Jenny. My laptop is dying. I'm gonna charge it.
That's fine. Always dying. I swear to God. So yeah, we walked in, grabbed our bag, and walked out because one, it was too crowded, right? There was no structure. There wasn't anyone there to say, okay, so you're gonna see Tessa Bailey, right? So you need to go into this line, go on that far corner, whatever. No, everyone just swarmed in. And that was it. So sorry, my laptop is asking for an upgrade here. So anyway, so they kind of swarmed in and we knew we weren't going to be able to see them. So we just left.
We did because honestly, there was just nothing we could really do. There, it was for Apollyon and Titan. So imagine everyone going to one event in a small room. We're given a card to ask each author a specific question to be put into a raffle, and you got a swag bag. And that was it. You couldn't really talk to the authors because there were so many people, like you would have been holding up the line. So that was the Sparkler event. So not that great.
Not worth it.
It wasn't worth it at all. Next was the Bookish event, which was at this. Oh, it was an hour after.
Yeah,
or it was like within the same time.
Yeah.
So instead of staying, we got our swag bag and then got in line for the Bookish event. And that was another, like, I'm sorry, but kind of a disappointment. So we stood in line, and now some people were in line for a long time. Remember, not an official line, but a line.
Hanging out.
They're hanging out, and some people were there for a really long time. And then it was supposed to start at 8, and then they told us at 8 o'clock, they were like, "Oh, if you're here for the exclusive from Blood and Ash book set, you're not coming in until 8:30. But if you're here just to shop, you can go." And once people heard that, everyone rushed. Like there was no, like, there should have been like, if you are here for that, I need you to line up here. It was just like, you can just go shopping. So then everyone is rushing. Me and you looked at each other like, do we go? Do we not go? It was just a mess. It really was.
And so that wasn't even like the start of the problem for that the Bookish Box event. The start of that problem was that there were also doing registration for the people that arrived Friday. So there was a huge line of people registering and getting wristbands. So I think they were all in the same line.
Yeah.
So the Bookish Box event, that line kind of melted into the registration line. So no one knew which line was which.
Yeah.
People were kind of just crowded in this big group of people trying to figure out which line they were supposed to be in. We were lucky enough that we were pretty close to the front of trying to do the Bookish Box thing, but we didn't know about them not letting people in that were there for the Blood and Ash tickets. So again, it was 2 separate lines. Once they announced that they were going to let people in that were not doing the tickets, it was just like a swarm of people. So we had to hurry up, grab our stuff, and get into that line, because otherwise we would have been kind of knocked out and gone to the end of the line. So we finally get in. They were only letting in a group of like 5, 6, 7 people
because it was
at
like
a time.
A really small section.
When I say small, it was like
4 tables.
A really roomy bathroom size section.
Yep.
Nothing against them, but that was not very smart, knowing that how many people actually like Bookish Box items. They should have made it a little bigger than that. It was a very small corner in the signing room that was already set up for signing for the next day. So not very smart.
And it was, to stand in that line, I was disappointed with the amount of stuff they were even selling. It was like 5 shirts, a couple candles, a couple of those like clip things for your phones, and little knickknacks and like keychain kind of stuff. But like, if you know Bookish Box and the amount of stuff that they have, like, I felt like we got a very small.
We got
not even a quarter.
I thought there was going to be more.
Not even a quarter of their stuff. Like, it was really, really a small amount. And I I still got my candle, my Resand candle.
I got a candle. It smells and I replaced my pop socket. That
was good. We were able to get stuff, but I would have spent a ton of money if they had like some really great stuff. I was even thinking or hoping that they would have like some like exclusive like ACOTAR stuff or exclusive anything. And the only thing was the books. That was about it. And it wasn't.
If they would have announced what was going to be there, I probably would not have I would have opted out of waiting in that ridiculous line and then going in there late.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all that worth it.
Yeah, I would have gone towards the end. I wouldn't have like waited at all.
Not at all. So we're running out of time. We did the first 2 days, Thursday, Friday. We still have the signing to talk about, so we're gonna do that in another section. But we will be posting it all together, so you'll be able to hear it all together.
We just want to give you as much information as possible. So breaking it up into 2 sections, we felt would be like the best way to get the most quality of information. So again, that was day 1 and 2. That was just day 1 and 2.
Yep. So that concludes part 1. We'll see you for part 2. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So welcome back to part 2 of our Apollycon experience.
Yes.
Right?
And it was an experience. If you haven't heard the first half of this video and this podcast, then stay tuned for part 2.
So this is all about Saturday, the big signing events and pajama party at the end. So signing for us was not that bad in the beginning. So a lot of people were arriving on Saturday, like the daily ticket people. So they had to register. Or anyone who arrived just for the Saturday ticket,
signing,
did registration on Saturday, which was, I hear, a little bit of a nightmare, because it was extremely long and signing started early, like 9 a.m. or something like that. So don't really recommend it, but unfortunately, if you're only there for the signing, that's what you're going to have to do to register Saturday early in the morning. I don't know if they allow daily ticket holders to register the day before. I didn't really hear anything about that.
I didn't see anything about that. I don't see why not.
I know, I don't think it would really matter to them if they registered the day before, but I know if you're an Apollyon ticket holder and Titan, you can register Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, whichever one, but you only have to register once. The other problem with that is the wristband for the ticketed authors. So Titan ticket holders had to get wristbands for Friday signing and had to get new wristbands for Saturday. But they were able to get those wristbands Friday after they were done with their signing if they wanted to. They didn't have to wait till Saturday, as far as I know.
No, but a lot of them didn't know they had to do that until Saturday morning when they were online and they were hearing other people getting wristbands, and then it was posted that they had to get wristbands. So quite a few of them had to leave the line and were really upset about it.
I would be too.
Yeah.
Honestly, because what if, everyone there is on a little trip, they're on a little mini vacation. Not everyone goes on Facebook or Instagram to check for any updates, especially for Apollycon. You're already there. So why do you need to check for updates? That wasn't a requirement when you bought the tickets. So I understand their frustration, because if they were not online checking Facebook, they would not have known, which was really shitty on the whole experience for them. So
sometimes paying the extra bucks doesn't really get you some of the perks you want. Sometimes it gives you more.
They did get an extra day of signing, an extra 3 hours.
That too. And I was a little bit frustrated with some of the Titan people, especially some of you who were crying, because you had
I don't mean to laugh, but that was, yes, there were people crying because they couldn't see some particular authors, and I'm so sorry that you were upset about that, but That was
had a whole
unnecessary.
extra day in 3 hours. If that was an author you really wanted to see, then you should have made it a priority that Friday.
Yeah. And I understand, because when if it was a ticketed author, and let's say you had ticket 500 or whatever, you probably did not make it to them.
Right.
But I saw videos of the Friday Titan signing. It looked like people were just leisurely walking around.
Yeah,
there weren't super long lines.
Because I think they took it as a hangout time with the authors. Because some of the authors the next day didn't want to do pictures anymore, didn't want to do personalized quotes from the books.
Yeah.
It was either gonna be your name and the author's name, like their signature, or just their signature. So a lot of the perks that they were getting on Friday did not roll over to Saturday, because some of those ticketed authors wound up having to stay a little bit later that Friday to finish,
right,
signatures and stuff. So I felt like obviously, you got a bonus day. So yeah, you're gonna, be able to talk more with the authors and have a better time. But if you're gonna do that and waste your time, don't go crying Saturday when you didn't get what you wanted done because you were chilling with one of your author friends. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I totally agree, because
Like, we only had the 3 hours in the morning in one room and 3 hours in the next room. So if we didn't get any of that done, then that's it for us.
Right.
Opportunities to jump back and forth as much as you wanted within 3 hours that we didn't get, and get the 3 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, so we had the Apollycon tickets, so we were limited to those 3 hours in one room, 3 hours in the next. And the daily ticket holders had to register Saturday morning, so they probably got in late to the signing in the beginning, which was really shitty for them. So, and again, I think they should change that.
Yeah, and the numbers again are random. So like, say I got ticket 578 on Thursday.
That's a real specific number.
I don't know. I just and then you came in Saturday, and you got ticket 25. Even though I got my wristband on Thursday, you're gonna get in before me. So that was even crazy too.
And that's why I said in part 1, don't worry about getting your wristbands. Just go and get them when you can get them on Thursday or Friday, because they're going to be super random. What's not random is the group of numbers that they call on signing day. So they start with 1 through 50, then they go to 1 through 75, 1 through 90, whatever it is. So then you have to wait. So like for Raven Kennedy, I had a wristband for her, you had a wristband for her, and we did not get to see her because she closed her line. She added hours at the end of the day. But if we would have gone to that, then there were other things that we couldn't do, like eat dinner. So I mean, she's not worth my dinner. Sorry, I love you, but you're not worth my dinner. If that was an entire day of not eating, like we sure, we had a little snack in between, but that is not worth it. And that's only because our husbands were with us.
Yeah, if we were by ourselves, there was no way we would have been able to get food, get in line, and be able to do anything. Like,
we wouldn't have been able to bring books with us. Because so let's go back. So we had a Apollycon B tickets, or Apollycon B tickets. So we started in ballroom 9 to 12 or something. We had all our tickets set up, ready. We planned out what we wanted to do. We knew exactly who we wanted to see. We were gunning for people.
We had a list We planned the night before. We knew what table. We knew which direction from the entrance we were walking in.
If you go onto our Instagram, you will see our pictures. Like, we gunned for people, especially EJ Mello.
Exactly.
She was our number one.
Our number one for both.
Yes, we knew exactly what table she was going to be. And at this point, she's not a ticketed author, so we ran straight for her. If we couldn't get anyone else after that, so be it. We got her signatures and we got to meet her. So we went for her first. So our recommendation, forget about the ticketed authors. Yes, get your wristbands, but focus on the ones that aren't ticketed and figure out who you want to see first to last, and then just gun for them right away, because those lines, the moment you walk in, you get into a line, turn around, there's already 15 people behind you. So go to your top three, pick top three, and then go straight to those lines. Forget about your ticketed authors, because you can get in those lines the moment your group is called. You can get into those lines.
So if you're number 1 through 50, technically you have a bunch of time before you need to get in line. So if you can see 2-3 authors before you get in line, then that's fine, because when they do 1 through 50, then they're going to do 51 to 75. Once you can still get into the line at any point,
the 1 through 50.
Because your number was already called. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to be like, oh my God, my number was called, I have to go line up right away. That line is going to be super long regardless of where you are. So if there are some non-ticketed authors that you really want to see, I would suggest seeing them first, and then going in the order of where you are within your ticketed, wristband.
So we had authors, our first 2 authors that weren't ticketed, we saw them, we were lucky enough to get them, that they were right next to each other. It was EJ Mello and Lexi Ryan. We went from one line to the next. The moment we got into Lexi Ryan's line, right behind us, they started ticketing, because her line got so long.
And then I guess I think it was Mike. I think someone had asked him. He was like, "Hey, do you have tickets?" And he just ignored the person.
No. Well, but that is a plus. If you really want to see someone who's not ticketed, go straight to their line, because their line could change like this and become a ticketed line. And now you have to wait, even though you're in line and waiting. If they give you a ticket, you have to get out of that line. And wait until your number's called.
Because there were a couple people that they weren't ticketed when we got our wristbands, and then on Saturday, they became ticketed authors, like Lexi Ryan, and
EJ Mello at one point was ticketed.
Because they were at first, they weren't the ticketed authors, and then all of a sudden, while you're at the event, they're like, oh, this is a ticketed author, if you want to see them, you need to get a wristband. So that was kind of frustrating too, because you could be standing in line and then they switch it on you, and I feel like that's not fair.
It's not. I think once you're in it, you should be allowed to see that author, even if you don't have a ticket and you're there. But regardless, we got to see them.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of the authors we wanted to see. Some of the ticketed authors, what was it? Laura's line,
Laura Thalassa, yes.
It was from 1 to 90 for an hour.
And then when they called it again, it was 5 numbers, 1 to 95.
1 to 100.
Yeah,
it only went up 10.
That was so ridiculous.
That was crazy to me. I don't know if it was because pre-orders and people, wanting their.
She did have a lot of pre-orders in the back, behind her. She had piles of books back there.
I'm wondering if that's what held up the line. Her pre-orders weren't signed yet, and then you're getting your stack, like, you go up to the line, you say, hey, I'm so and so. They have to look for your books, then they give you your books, and then you have your stack, and then she has to sign them. And that was another issue. Rules, people.
How long?
They said 3 signatures,
3
items. I kid you not. We were in line for a number of different authors, and people had 8, 9 books, like stacked, like, coming out of carts that they said we couldn't have. So that's the thing. Was it backpacks and suitcases with wheels? Or
there were no wheels allowed. I know they had posted that if you needed accommodations to email them. So those could have been people that needed accommodations, but what kinds of accommodations? Because those backpacks were heavy. So
we were. So I don't know. Like I said, some of them, I will not forget the lady in front of us who literally took out like 8 books from her carts and put them on the table.
Her wheeled cart. And she carried all those books. She carried them all.
All of her books signed at once.
So that was the most frustrating thing.
You were supposed to get 3 signatures, right? 3 books. Say you wanted 3 books signed. Then you get those 3 books, and then you have to go back in line and go back.
Because if that was the case, I would have gotten so many more signatures from different authors that I wanted to get. E.J. Mello's Dreamland series, she has like 4 books. I would have gotten 4 extra signatures from her on a book plate if I could.
And mind you, we planned it out with our husbands. Like, I'm going to get 3 signatures. You're going to get 3 signatures. Like, we had like their stacks of books or their book plates ready. Or like, I had my tote bag that I wanted signed. You had your canvases, and we counted those within our numbers. So for some authors, I was like, okay, I have to give away one of my book plates because I really want my tote bag to be signed. So like
we did not need to do that.
No, because I think my eyes came out of my face. Do you remember that when she took all those books out, and she
had a whole crate, and then she had another bag, and she just took out this stack of books, and that was for JLA, right? Jennifer Armentrout. And that wasn't the only line that happened in. I did see it in more lines. But I definitely saw it in JLA's line, because that one was a bit crazy, because she had a lot of books that she was signing.
But you know what? She did, extend her times for both days. So she was like, you're gonna get your book signed by me. I will make it happen. So that was great on her part. Like, she's really, supportive of her fans. She's gonna go all out for her fans. So if you went to see her, you're going to see her. If you wanted your book signed by her, she's gonna sign your books. But unfortunately, a lot of the other authors aren't like that either. They have their own time constraints. They have
I mean, which is fine. They're there for a certain amount of time, and that's it. Like, they shouldn't have to stay past their time to sign shit for us. But stick to the fucking rules. If you stick to the fucking rules, then everyone can get their shit signed. Like, that's it. Period. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was for the ticketed stuff. There was a point where we were somewhere near Allie Hazelwood's line. There was no one in line. She's a ticketed author, and there was not one person in line. So I could only assume that they called out 1 through 50. All those people were already in lines, so they couldn't get out just to go get a signature from her. Why couldn't they just extend the number or let people get in line?
Or open the floor to her.
Yeah, because she was open for like 5 minutes, because we were in the like 2 tables down from her, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, we could just get our shit signed and move along.
Yeah, because there really wasn't a line.
We couldn't get in line because she was ticketed. So
And our
that
numbers
could have been done a little better, I guess, or paid attention to more.
Yeah.
But number one recommendation, bring someone with you that doesn't want to be there. Because if they want to be there, they're going to get their own signatures and they're useless to you. If Celese and I went together, it would have sucked really bad because neither of us would have been able to get all of the books signed that we wanted to. Maybe a handful of them, that's it. And
because we would have had to compromise on certain, there were authors you wanted to see that I didn't, I didn't particularly want to see. So if I didn't see them, I wouldn't be upset about it.
Right.
So like if it was just me and you, we would have had to compromise, like, okay, these are my top authors I really want to see, these are your top authors you want to see. We have to kind of meet in the middle, who's next to who, so that we can really try, because you
can't do it. I don't know how people did it alone. I really don't, because like also trying to organize everything. So you're like, okay, I have a book that I want signed from this author, but I also want 2 book plates because I haven't bought those other 2 books yet. So now you're trying to figure out in your bag like what to get. Also, our husbands were really good at taking all of the goodies from the tables. Otherwise, I would not have remembered shit.
No, every time I went to the table, I was like, hi, can you sign this for me?
Sign this.
Can you sign this for me? But another bonus was, with us having our podcast and them being so supportive, they were handing out buttons, they were handing out our bookmarks, they were promoting us like, hey, our wives do this,
they were really great.
At some points we were in lines and they were taking our stuff to shorter lines to make sure it got signed, and our bookmarks were being handed out to authors that we couldn't personally see, but they would see for us. So our networking was happening because of them. Because
absolutely, because we couldn't.
No, we couldn't get the goodies. We couldn't get all our book signs. We couldn't stand in all the lines and market ourselves at the same time. There's no way. So people who did it on their own, like, props to you, because it's not something. I was stressed. I was so stressed. And towards the end, I was mumbling my words. Remember?
So she gave a bookmark out and she was like, this is for you. We drink wine. I was like, yes, we do. We do drink wine. But didn't even say that we had a podcast. We just drink wine.
Because we had like a whole spiel. Like we would, meet the author, like, hi, so nice to meet you. We're the Sloppy Book Club. We really just wanted to give them our bookmarks and stickers because, we were getting signatures from them and bookmarks from them. So we wanted to give them our bookmarks. And by the end, how many authors get gifts, at their own
signing? I feel like they were excited. But there was like this one author that really sticks to me when we were there. We were in Elise Colba's line, and her line was a little bit long, and there was a table next to her, Mary Ting. Nobody was in line, and Mike went up to her and he was talking to her for like 10 minutes trying to get our stuff signed. She actually left her table and came to talk to us about her books. Like she just gave us this huge spiel about her books, which I thought was really nice of her and really cute. So,
and I actually like the themes of her books, that they're always symbolized with something. Like she mentioned, like one book, the wind chimes were super significant in her story. Another one was like seashells. So she takes a lot of like surroundings and nature as her inspiration, which was so awesome to learn. So like,
and she gave us a couple arcs.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. Her name was Mary Ting, Ting.
So that was awesome. Like there were authors really like happy to meet us. We were happy to meet them. And, like I said, it was a good networking like situation for us. We're not really big yet. So being able to put our name out there and, show a face behind our brand was really nice. And a lot of the authors were really, really nice to us. So we really appreciate that. That's why, like, even though there were there were a couple of negatives within the event, the signing process was really great for us. And like, I really enjoyed it.
I did too.
That experience I would do again. I don't need the added stuff. Like, unless it's like a big giveaway or a big, like, I don't know, whole limited edition like collection that I'm really interested in.
But even that, like, could you imagine, right? Let's say Bookish Box does this whole set of books that you could get at a discounted price, super special edition, sprayed edges, whatever. You can't get it anywhere else. Do you really, really think that it would be a good idea to go to a Friday event where they're going to limit now 200 people? Because now we know that, okay, they're saying 200 people, but does that mean that 200 people will get those books? Probably not. Right. So would that be worth it? I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think I would ever do all those extra things again.
No.
I
don't think so. I feel like the signing was the best part. Like, seeing the authors.
And it was hot, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was fucking hot as shit in there.
It really was hot. And then I decided to get cheesecake too. So now I'm holding cheesecakes and books and trying to promote myself and do all these things. And it was just like, it was a lot.
It was a whole lot. But honestly, like, the actual signing day was absolutely worth it. Yeah. But I feel like we would have had a tougher time if our husbands weren't there. Yeah. If Mike and Angel weren't there, like, we probably would not have had a good time. We probably would have seen half the authors that we saw. They were super helpful. They got into lines, got us signatures where we couldn't, and obviously held our books because those were way too heavy for us. Yeah. So I feel like the signing is worth it, but definitely bring someone who doesn't really want to be there or could care less about books. So they could just be your carry-on person. Yeah, that's it. Like, give them a job. Like, okay, you're gonna carry this stack of books for the next signing, but you're also gonna take all the goodies from the table for me. So that you don't have to think about it. All you have to do is go up to the authors.
Go in there with a plan, give them a job, and keep it moving, because like, you gotta move to the next author, to the next author, to the next author. Oh, you need goodies from this one. Take a stack from here. Here, let's rotate from this book, from that book. So like, the way I organize my stuff, I organize my books by rooms. Like, all the authors I wanted to see from Ballroom, all the books were in one backpack. All the books that I wanted to see in the Independence room, they were in another bag. Now, Jenny did hers a little bit different because Mike is a beast. He was like, I'm going to hold all the books.
Like, I'm strong, man.
He was like, I'm going to hold all your books in one backpack, and the other backpack is strictly goodies.
Yeah, so, like, I didn't carry any books at all.
I did.
No, my backpack was empty, and it was strictly for goodies. And I tried to take the load off of him. He refused. So it is what it is. So he literally went to every table. I would grab the book that I needed from his bag, and then he would take all the goodies and throw it into the backpack that I was holding.
And honestly, that would be too stressful for me if I had a bag of books and a bag of goodies. Like, I just want to know where everything is. So, Ballroom, strictly those books, and Independence room, strictly those books, just because I know what's in them and I'm not like searching for them. Like, I know I could like line them up in my backpack in some kind of way to make it easier, but I couldn't.
And you could go either way. So just do whatever for you. I did it one way, she did it another way, whatever works. But our recommendation is to bring someone with you.
Yeah, someone who doesn't want to be there. That's super important, because again, you're gonna have to compromise on who you want to see and who's a priority. If you're bringing someone who's just excited about the event as you are, like, it's It's
It's
gonna be hard.
useless to you, yeah, because
Yeah.
you might as well be by yourself.
Mhm.
So then that brings us to the end of like our day, which was the pajama party.
Yes.
And that was an event that was open to everyone.
Mhm.
And I want to say it was like an 8 p.m. to 11 or something.
Yeah.
So for
It's like,
us at this point, we were very tired.
yeah,
It was a full
exhausted.
day of
Mhm.
signing and talking and talking and talking. We don't do that. We don't do that at all. And we were talking the entire day. So it was very exhausting for us. So eventually, oh, and we were hungry. So eventually,
Hungry,
at
tired, my
time,
feet hurt. Wear
our poor
comfortable shoes.
husbands carrying things for us, like we were just kind of not in a mood to do much else.
Mhm.
So we decided to just go out and get dinner and not go to the pajama party.
Right.
Um, I figured I knew how the pajama party was gonna go, seeing as how everything else went and how there weren't any rule followers and things just kind of seemed a little chaotic
Mhm.
between the hotel and the event and everything.
Mhm.
So it sounds like we didn't miss out on much,
No. If
right?
anything, we missed on chaos, like just people watching. Like I love people watching.
Me
I love
too.
people acting
Hmm.
a fool
Get
because
a nice drink right up on the little balcony to watch what all these people were doing
yeah,
because we heard it was a hot mess and people were behaving crazy like
crazy.
animals.
Yeah.
Like,
I
come on,
heard people were crawling under the table trying to
pushing
get
people.
push pushing people. One person said like she was like in a wheelchair or like her cart or
Oh, like a
something.
scooter thing. Like she must have hurt her leg or something because she was like on
Yeah.
a cart
And that
wheelchair
she
thing.
almost fell because someone pushed her out of the way. People were crawling under the table to try and get to, like, I guess whatever books were there. That someone literally walked out with a unopened box. Like she straight up took the box and just left.
Yeah. So, and this is because, so they didn't say anything about anyone getting goodies, a swag bag, nothing. This was just like a pajama day party
Yeah.
at the end of
Drink,
this whole event
mingle,
thing. So
like wind down.
everyone was allowed.
Mhm.
So, of course, there were going to be a ton of people there. And then what we heard was that goodies and books and stuff were put out on tables that technically weren't supposed to be put out, or at least the books weren't supposed to be put out.
So, right. So, from my understanding of how I read it, I guess hotel staff had placed them. I don't think
Mm,
it was Apollycon staff.
wow.
I think it was hotel
I
staff
didn't see that.
clearing out the room, had put those things there because there were so many extra bags.
Whoops.
And it got mistaken for a giveaway and freebies, but they were supposed to be for staff, and some of it was giveaway stuff, but they had placed everything from my understanding. I could be completely wrong, but that's where I thought I read somewhere, is I don't know.
But
But
what I want to know is how did that go from like people just like grabbing shit? Because like if you and I were there,
that's what I
like
want to know too. Who said, oh, this is a free for all, go
yeah,
get it? Was it just a random person and then everybody just swarmed in, or
assumed,
was
yeah.
it a staff?
Because like even during the signing, when we went up to the author tables, we were like, "Oh, are these giveaways?" Like we didn't even take anything without
Yeah.
asking if we
Mm-hmm.
could take any of the bookmarks or anything like that. So I could never see myself walking up to a table with books and goodies and just
And just
taking them
grabbing
without
it.
someone saying, "Oh, here, take them.
Yeah.
They're goodies,"
Mm-hmm.
or a sign or something. Like who said that? And
Yeah.
who had the balls to just go up there and just start taking shit?
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because honestly, like there were so many goodies on authors' tables, and I was just like, "Is that for sale or to take? Can I have that?" And they're like, "Please take everything. I don't want to take anything home," you know. But I did that with every single author. Like I was so like I didn't want to put them in a position where I was like taking their stuff or them saying, "Oh, you know, that's like, you know, $2 or $5 or something." Like, so I made sure to ask, like, I wasn't gonna just take things, you know?
Right.
So the fact that people were just like,
the nerve,
just taking things like that,
and then just
so crazy
scorning
to
and
me.
pushing people. Like I'm so disappointed in like a lot of those people.
Sorry.
I'm glad I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And see their faces on who acted that way, but I feel like that's absolutely ridiculous.
It's
For like
disgusting. Like,
children.
come on. Like, this is
Yeah.
supposed to be a fun, exciting event. You're coming together with a bunch of people who have a same interest as you, and you just ruin the experience for some people. Like, some people said because of the way people were acting, they don't want to come back.
Why would they? Could you imagine if you would have brought, because you brought your baby to our trip with us, but your baby was in the hotel room. Could you imagine we went and you had to bring your baby with you?
I would have been in jail.
Like fighting. That's crazy.
I would have gone to jail.
It's ridiculous. They acted like children.
It would have been either me or Angel, one of us, because when it comes to our kids, it's like that's it. No holds barred. Like
so, and there were children there. We saw kids.
Yeah, there was
throughout the event.
There was one lady who commented that she didn't bring her kid to that table because people were so disgusting and acting like animals that she wasn't gonna subject her child to that. And I'm just like, that's embarrassing. Sad. That is so sad that grown adults, mind you, there was a younger crowd, but there were a lot of older people there.
Yeah.
And I have to say, a lot of them were like, no manners. No manners.
Yeah.
The older
that was fun. So don't go to the pajama party.
Don't go to the pajama party. But you know, reading through the comments and reading through posts and stuff, I guess that it is common for them to have freebies and giveaways and things like that. And Bookish Box did donate some things, but not
like. But you would think you would wait for an announcement or something.
I wish I would have been there just to know exactly how that happened. How did that happen?
Someone will post a video, some kind of clip at some point, I'm sure. But we didn't go. We had a good old time. We went to a taco place and we had really good freaking food.
Yeah.
And we sat outside and listened to a cover band, which was really fun.
We had a great time.
We had a wonderful time.
And then we got home, back to the hotel, and we just like heard about the craziness, and then waking up the next day and like hearing even more about it.
Yeah. And there was
this people being crazy. Like that's insane to me. It's so disappointing. It really is. And it does ruin the experience for a lot of people who went in there excited and left like that was like a zoo, you know?
Yeah.
And imagine that being your event. Imagine that being your event.
And I was just gonna say that, like, a lot of people complained about the event, and we had some negative things to say about it because there were really like shitty moments that we had, but there were also a lot of good, positive moments. So to blame the volunteers is really shitty. I get that a lot of them were there was a lot of miscommunication between the two of them or between multiple volunteers, but you can't blame everything on them.
No.
And the way people were acting was a bit ridiculous. And that like totally negates any complaint that you have because of the way you were acting. Like, I don't even want to hear it. whatever you complained about, I don't even care if you were one of those ones who were pushing and grabbing shit off the table on that last
or
night.
even being rude to
whatever.
staff. Like some of them were just rude. Like, you know, these people volunteered their time to help out. And for you to be nasty and, you know, argue or whatever with them, like, excuse you, get off your high horse. Because some of them, you know, were ticket holders too and volunteering their time.
Yeah.
So they missed out on certain things. And then basically they got their stuff stolen that was supposed to be given to them.
That's true. That's
their stuff was stolen, essentially, because some of that stuff was theirs.
Yeah.
And, you know, probably some of them didn't get the signings that they wanted to because they decided to volunteer their time.
Right.
So I feel bad. I don't know if I would volunteer for something like that.
I would never. Oh my God. No way. Absolutely not.
But learning so much about like what was happening behind the scenes, I feel bad. Like, you know, I was in there like,
I was upset a lot of the time. Like I was upset at the source book event. I was upset at the Friday event, but not that big of a deal. I'm not gonna cry over it. I'm not gonna rage over it. Like whatever. My Saturday went great. Even if I didn't get to see a lot of the authors, I did get to see, but even if I didn't, I wouldn't cry about it and rage about it. It is what it is.
In all honesty, I saw everyone I wanted to. I got all the signatures and some.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go in it with a plan, and you have to be okay with your plan not following through at the same time and not, you know, beating everyone up about it, you know, because at the end of the day, like, it's a line, you know, like you go to Six Flags or an amusement park, you stand in a long line and sometimes it closes.
Right.
So like you have to go in there with a plan and be okay if it just doesn't go through. I'm okay with just doing the signing from now on, you know.
Agreed. Yeah. We'll miss out on like the swag bag, like when we get there Thursday. We'll miss out on any goodies from Thursday, Friday night. But I feel like for us, the signing was the best part.
I feel like that was the most important part.
I mean, it really was. That's why we were there. We weren't there for the swag bags. We were there for the signing.
Yeah. We just got those tickets because, you know, we wanted to know what the full experience was. Did it? It is what it is, but I would prefer just doing the signing. That's my opinion. I'd rather just do that because to me, that's the most important. You're still going to be in line, meeting a ton of new people. You're going to be able to meet your authors and be able to interact with them. So it's like you're still getting some of the perks. You're just not coming home with, you know, an Apollycon tote bag with some stuff in it.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. And we did not go to the brunch on Sunday. We decided not to do that, which I'm glad because by then I was ready to go home. Yeah, that was a separate ticket. You do not get that with Titan or Apollycon or Apollyon tickets or Deity tickets. That was completely separate.
Even panels. The only people who didn't have to pay extra were Titan holders. But everyone else, if you wanted to do panels, you had to pay for it. But they changed their services now in regards to like Titan holders, what you get, and then now Apollyon, or did they change the name of it?
I don't know.
There's no deity holders anymore.
Okay.
Or is it no Apollyons? I don't know. They morphed or combined two of the tiers. Now there's only 2 tiers and not 3. Because they added more Titan tickets and they added, is it Apollyon or deity tickets? Something. They did something. So they changed it up. They also don't know if they're doing that venue again. because of all the craziness that was happening behind the scenes between them asking for services that they never got. Apparently they asked for security and they had one guy and he wasn't even dressed as a security worker. They didn't have the AC working properly. They didn't have the water stations that they were supposed to. They had to go out and buy it. A lot of the staff of the hotel, they were supposed to help with setup with the tables and things like that, and they didn't. I guess the Apollycon staff had to do it. So there was a lot of things that were happening behind the scenes that, you know, stress people out. So I can see why, you know, even as a volunteer, you're being, you know, kind of stressed or frazzled because you were given one plan, and if it had to shift because a room wasn't, you know, set up properly, and now you have to do that and then still do your job, like that's a lot to put on a person.
It is a lot. It was very stressful, and like we said, there's definitely a lot of negatives, but there were a lot of positives too. So hopefully with all of this information, you'll be able to decide whether or not this is for you, or what type of ticket you would want to get.
Honestly, like next year. I want to go next year, but I'm okay with just meeting the authors and going about my day.
Yeah, I think if it's like the first time you're ever doing it, you should probably try to do the whole thing just to get the experience, get to all the goodies that you want to get. You'll have some extra time with certain authors that are doing things on different days. I feel like I would have had like real FOMO if I didn't do any of that. But now that we've done it, we wouldn't want to do it again, and we would just do the signing. But I feel like if it's
really
your first
know
time,
what the perks are, especially because the amount you're paying for these tickets, like they're not
to not be able to do things.
Yeah, they're not $50 tickets, you know. When you're a Titan holder, you're paying $100+ for this experience. And imagine you paid all that money and you didn't get to do everything you wanted to. Like that's
so I could understand them being upset. If they didn't get to do a lot of the things, or they didn't make it to the source books because they were 301 or whatever. Like that would really upset me too, but it is what it is.
I would say this was our experience. This is also post-COVID. You know, this is the first like big event after, you know, so what could go wrong did go wrong, and hopefully, you know, for the next time it's better, because I've only ever heard really good things about this. And I feel like our year that we went is kind of when things kind of went a little bit crazy. So you know, next year might be better. It might be at a different hotel, a different venue. It might be 20 times better. The events might be better, more structured, you know. You never know. You know, it's a gamble, basically.
And we'll kick ourselves for only getting the one-day ticket.
I have a feeling we will.
I know.
I have a feeling like there's gonna be something in one of those bags that we're gonna be like, no.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, that's what happens.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Can't cry over spilled milk. But all in all, the 4-day, we were there since Thursday, so like
Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah, those days, like, I wouldn't change it. Like, it was an experience. I got to do something I've never done before. This was our first ever book convention, and it's a doozy for this to be our first one. But I wouldn't.
We did go to one last month, but it was a lot smaller. I would have to say it was so organized, and you could literally see everyone you wanted to see.
We were there for like a good hour, and we were like, oh, we got to see.
It was really nice. Yeah.
So Romanticon in Connecticut is actually really, really cool, really nice. The authors are super, super sweet.
And it's every year. They're gonna hold another one next year. I think it's Trumbull, Connecticut. we will go next year, I think.
Yeah, we definitely go going to Romanticon.
I think it was really nice. We're really nervous, so I think we'll go again and we'll be better.
Yeah, that was our very first experience. And those authors were super sweet.
Yeah,
that whole event was really, really nice. And you won a whole box of goodies.
I did. I put in 2 raffle tickets and I won an entire box of books. I want to say at least 20 to 25 romance books. Most of them were signed, like a good 90% of them, and a ton of goodies like mugs and wine glasses, pins, pens, everything. It was really nice. That was a nice
Romanticon, if you're in the area near Connecticut or you want to drive to Connecticut, that's a fun event. We had a great time.
And we'll be there next year, so you can meet us.
We will definitely be there next year. Yeah. And hopefully, depending on how these Apollycon tickets go, we'll be there next year too. So even though we had some negatives, even though we, had our little complaints, we're still gonna go.
We'll go back, yes.
We'll still go back.
Don't want to miss
out. Will we drive? I don't know.
That was a long drive.
It was a long drive. But I also feel really bad for the people who took flights and their stuff got damaged.
Yes, because they had to mail everything or took everything in the luggage and it got damaged. There was like water damage on someone's stuff. I can't. I was stressed. I would cry. So all that money spent.
We might just have to drive because I'm not spending all that money for my stuff to be ruined.
Right.
Either that or I'm gonna have to buy a very, very expensive suitcase to make sure.
We'll end up driving.
I think we will drive.
Yeah. It's just easier.
I think it's easier for our stuff to get there the way we want it and come back the way we want it.
Exactly.
So if you can drive,
do it.
I would say drive.
Keep your stuff safe, and you could bring more things, right? Because you don't have to pay for an extra luggage. You just throw it in the back and drive.
I could only imagine how much that was bringing on carry-ons, because I know some people they bought so many books you had to purchase another suitcase.
It was a lot easier to drive. Just don't even bother. If you can drive, just drive.
Yep. Okay. Drive those 6, 8 hours, 10 hours.
Probably longer for some people.
Yeah, because some people came from out of the country. There was some people from Canada. So that was crazy too. Oh my God. There was people from all over, which was really, really nice. Yeah. So that's why I really liked the experience. We got to meet a ton of people. We got to see a hedgehog.
We did. I think the owner's name is Caroline. Thank you for letting us pet your little hedgehog.
We got to do a lot. So, and even just being able to go to DC and just like be a tourist and just go around. Nice. Like you can make a huge trip out of it. It doesn't just have to be about the book convention and stuff. You can make it a cool little trip for yourself. And that's what we did.
And you might see an author walking around because I saw them taking or posting pictures of them sightseeing. So you might see some of them around.
So look at that. You get bonus signings and stuff.
Don't go cool. Stalking them. I think that's it. Don't you have a giveaway? No, we both have a giveaway on our Sloppy Book Club.
Yes. Page. So on my personal page, C Perez _44, I am actually giving away my husband's copy of his A Shadow in the Embers by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is her Apollycon special edition. So if you are into that and you want this special edition, again, go to C Perez _44 on Instagram and find the giveaway picture so you can figure out what the rules are to enter in the giveaway. And then on our podcast Instagram, we are giving away some exclusive merch. It is a tote bag. It is 4 of our bookmarks, 2 of our stickers, and 2 of our buttons, which is pretty exciting. There's nothing like it. We don't know.
The first time we've ever done anything like this. So.
Yeah, it's basically like a prototype of some of our stuff. We're still trying to figure out like vendors and figuring out how to, go about getting more for you guys to purchase. But this is totally free. It is a giveaway. So if you go to the Sloppy Book Club on Instagram, you can enter to go into that giveaway as well. So right now, this week, we have 2 giveaways happening simultaneously.
And they both end on Monday?
They both end on Monday, yes. No, mine, I believe, ends on Sunday, and then our Sloppy Book Club ends on Monday, but winners will be notified on Wednesday.
Got it.
Exciting things happening.
Yes. All right, so that's it.
Give us a follow. Thank you. If you listened thus far to all these clips and parts in this podcast, thanks for listening. And yeah. Thanks for watching this video. This is our first video.
Bye.
Bye.